shadows, and sketches. The fluorescent lights hummed softly above Sophia Reyes as she moved methodically between the desks of Horizon Technologies. At 29, she had perfected the art of invisibility, slipping through the corporate maze after hours, headphones delivering gentle piano melodies as she emptied trash bins and wiped down surfaces polished enough to reflect her tired eyes. This wasn't the life she'd imagined while graduating with honors from community college, but night cleaning paid better than retail and left her days free for online courses in UX design. Her sketchbook, tucked into her cleaning cart, contained dreams sketched in careful detail, interfaces and applications that could change lives if given the chance. I didn't realize anyone would be here. The voice startled Sophia, sending her heart racing as she turned to find a man standing in the doorway of the conference room she was cleaning. Tall, with dark hair that fell carelessly across his forehead, he wore the rumpled remains of what had clearly been an expensive suit 12 hours ago. "I'm just finishing up," she said, switching off her music. "You're here late. Deadlines wait for no man," he replied with a weary smile. "I'm Ethan, by the way. Ethan Mercer." She recognized the name, one of the rising stars in product development, frequently mentioned in company-wide emails. "Sophia," she offered simply. Ethan's eyes drifted to her cart where the corner of her sketchbook peeked out. "You're an artist?" Heat rose to Sophia's cheeks as she tucked it deeper into the cart. "Just sketches." "Nothing serious, may I?" he asked, gesturing toward the book. Something in his genuine curiosity made her hesitate only briefly before retrieving it. "They're mostly interface designs. I'm studying UX." Ethan's eyebrows rose as he carefully flipped through pages of meticulous wireframes and flowing annotations. "These are incredible," he said, pausing at a healthcare app concept she'd been refining. "The patient journey flow here solves problems we've been wrestling with for months." Sophia shifted uncomfortably under the weight of his admiration. "It's just theoretical. I haven't coded anything yet." "But you understand the human element," he insisted, handing back the book with newfound respect. "That's rarer than you think." For weeks after that, Ethan would appear during her shifts, sometimes with legitimate work excuses, sometimes with transparent ones. They would talk across the silent hours, about design philosophy, about books they'd read, about the view from the rooftop garden where they eventually began sharing midnight coffee breaks. "You should be on my team." "Not cleaning it," he said one night as they watched city lights shimmer beneath them. The corporate building towered above most others, offering a kingdom of stars and skyscrapers from its roof. Sophia laughed softly. "Your team requires degrees I don't have and connections I'll never make." "But you have talent they can't teach," Ethan countered, his fingers almost brushing hers on the railing. "Look, there's this gala next Friday, celebrating our new product launch. Come with me." The invitation hung between them, heavy with implications. Sophia studied his face, searching for pity or, worse, charity. "Not as a cleaner," he added quickly. "As my guest. Bring your portfolio. Some of the senior designers will be there." "I don't belong in that world, Ethan." "Maybe that world needs to expand," he said with quiet conviction. "Just think about it." As dawn threatened the horizon, Sophia gathered her cleaning supplies, conflicted. Her mother had always warned her about dreaming. Beyond their station, the ceiling gets lower for people. Like us, she'd say, but something about Ethan's faith made her wonder if some ceilings were meant to be broken. "I'll think about it," she promised, knowing already that her one decent dress would be pressed and ready by Friday, even as doubt whispered warnings she chose, for once, not to hear. Whispers between worlds. The next week passed in a blur of anxiety and anticipation for Sophia. She found herself standing before her modest closet, scrutinizing the navy blue dress she'd worn to her cousin's wedding 2 years ago. It was simple but elegant, the most formal thing she owned. "You're being ridiculous," her roommate Jenna commented from the doorway, arms folded across her chest. "It's just a fancy party." "It's not just a party," Sophia replied, smoothing the fabric with trembling fingers. "These people make decisions that affect industries. And I'm just brilliant," Jenna interrupted. "Talented? Deserving of recognition?" Sophia smiled despite herself. I was going to say out of my depth. Listen to me, Jenna said, crossing the room to place her hands on Sophia's shoulders. You've been sketching interfaces since before most of these tech bros knew what UX meant. Don't let their expensive educations intimidate you. The night of the gala, Sophia arrived at the gleaming Horizon Technologies headquarters transformed by evening lights and floral arrangements. The lobby she usually cleaned now sparkled with champagne flutes and the polished shoes of San Francisco's tech elite. Ethan found her immediately, his smile brightening when he saw her. You came, he said, visibly relieved. I almost turned around 3 times on the way here, she admitted. He looked handsome in his tailored suit, different from the rumpled late-night version she'd grown accustomed to. I'm glad you didn't. Come on, there's someone I want you to meet. Throughout the evening, Ethan introduced her to colleagues whose names she recognized from company emails she'd seen while emptying their trash bins. She spoke intelligently about design trends and emerging technologies, temporarily forgetting the social gulf between them. Where did you study? Asked a woman named Vanessa, eyeing Sophia's dress with subtle assessment. Community college for my associates, and I'm finishing my bachelor's online, Sophia answered honestly. Online? Vanessa exchanged glances with another designer named Pierce. How resourceful, Ethan tensed beside her. Sophia has incredible design instincts. Wait until you see her portfolio. As the night progressed, Sophia found herself increasingly aware of whispered comments and curious stares. She excused herself to find the restroom, needing a moment of quiet. In the elegant bathroom, she overheard Vanessa speaking to another woman. Ethan's charity case, Vanessa said dismissively. She's actually one of the cleaning staff. Can you believe it? Sophia froze, heart pounding. No wonder he wouldn't say where they met, the other woman replied. Think he's trying to be her white knight? Or she's trying to sleep her way into a design position, Vanessa laughed. Sophia slipped out, cheeks burning. She found Ethan by the bar, now surrounded by a group of his peers, men in expensive watches and women with perfect blowouts. There she is, Ethan said warmly, motioning her over. Pierce, already loosened by alcohol, grinned broadly. Ethan was just telling us about your midnight rooftop conversations. Very romantic. Sophia felt her stomach drop. It's not like that. So what department did you say you were in? Asked someone new, a man with glasses and an artificial smile. Before she could answer, Vanessa appeared. Oh, she's not in a department. She empties our trash cans. The circle went quiet. And Sophia watched as understanding dawned on their faces, followed by amusement and, from some, poorly disguised disdain. You're the cleaning staff, the man with glasses clarified, eyebrows raised. Ethan stepped forward, his expression tight. Sophia is extremely talented. She's studying design and has an incredible eye for... It's adorable, really, Pierce interrupted, his smile now condescending. Bringing the help to the gala, Ethan's face reddened. That's completely out of line. No, it's fine, Sophia said quietly, dignity intact despite her humiliation. Yes, I clean your offices at night. And yes, I'm studying design. The two aren't mutually exclusive. The circle exchanged uncomfortable glances, and one woman actually took a small step back as if poverty might be contagious. She's working on herself, Ethan said awkwardly, the words landing like a betrayal. He'd meant to defend her, but instead had reduced her to a project, a work in progress not yet worthy of their world. Sophia felt something inside her crumble. She'd believed for a moment that talent might bridge the divide between their worlds. Now she knew better. I should go, she said softly, turning away from Ethan's apologetic expression and the smirks of his colleagues. As she moved toward the exit, dignity in tatters but spine straight, she never noticed the silver-haired man watching her from across the room, his intense gaze following her retreat with unexpected interest. Crystal cracks, Sophia had nearly reached the doors when a commanding voice cut through the murmuring crowd. Ms. Reyes, a moment, please. The room hushed almost instantly. Sophia turned to find a distinguished man in his 50s approaching her with purposeful strides. Recognition dawned slowly. This was Jonathan Thorne, founder and CEO of Horizon Technologies. His face graced the lobby portrait she dusted each week, though he rarely visited this branch office. "Mr. Thorne," she acknowledged, wondering how he knew her name. He reached for her hand and, to the astonishment of onlookers, raised it briefly to his lips in an old-world gesture of respect. "I believe these are yours," he said, producing a folder containing printouts of interface designs, her designs, sketched on the conference room whiteboard. Gasps rippled through the now silent crowd. Yes," she admitted, recognizing her work. "I'm sorry if I overstepped. I sometimes use the whiteboards to work through ideas during my break." Thorne's eyes sparkled with something like admiration. "Overstepped? Ms. Reyes, these concepts are precisely what our healthcare division has been struggling to develop for months. When my team photographed them for reference, I demanded to know which brilliant mind had solved our usability problem." Across the room, Ethan watched wide-eyed while Vanessa and Pierce exchanged panicked glances. "The building manager informed me it was likely the night cleaner with the design obsession," Thorne continued, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I've been trying to identify you for weeks." Sophia felt dizzy with disbelief. "They're just rough concepts. They're intuitive and elegant solutions that put my entire UX team to shame," he countered. "Tell me, what were you doing emptying trash cans instead of leading our design department?" "Paying my rent," she answered honestly, "and putting myself through school." A few uncomfortable chuckles escaped the crowd, but Thorne didn't smile. Instead, he studied her with newfound respect. "I'd like you to join our Innovation Incubator program," he said definitively. "Full salary, benefits, and your education costs covered. We start promising talents there before moving them into leadership positions." Sophia blinked rapidly, certain she'd misheard. "I don't have the credentials your company requires." "Credentials?" Thorne scoffed. "I dropped out of college myself. What you have is far rarer, genuine talent and the persistence to develop it despite obstacles." He gestured around the opulent room. "Half the people here couldn't have accomplished what you have under similar circumstances." Vanessa stepped forward, her smile suddenly sickly sweet. "Jonathan, if I'd known she was interested in design, I would have mentored her myself." Thorne fixed her with a cool stare. "Interesting, since I believe I just overheard you mocking her position. Perhaps you might benefit from remembering that I started my career as a janitor at IBM." Vanessa paled visibly, retreating back into the crowd. Sophia stood straighter, feeling the weight of every stare. She could sense Ethan trying to catch her eye, his expression a mixture of awe and remorse. For a moment, she savored the reversal. The same people who had dismissed her now watched in stunned silence as their careers potentially hinged on her response. "I appreciate the offer, Mr. Thorne," she said carefully. "I'd be honored to join the incubator program." Thorne nodded approvingly. "Excellent. My office will contact you Monday. And Ms. Reyes," he added as he prepared to walk away, "you won't be cleaning anything anymore except perhaps the intellectual cobwebs from our thinking." As Thorne departed, the crowd erupted in whispers. Several people who had ignored her all evening suddenly approached with business cards and congratulations. Sophia accepted them with polite detachment, not missing the irony. She finally allowed herself to meet Ethan's gaze. He pushed through the crowd toward her, apology written across his features. "Sophia, I'm so sorry about what I said. I didn't mean—" "It's not your apology I needed," she interrupted quietly. "It was your courage I was hoping for." Without waiting for his response, she turned and walked out into the cool night air, her future suddenly as bright as the city lights below. Reflections in Glass Monday morning found Sophia entering Horizon Technologies through the front doors for the first time. The security guard, who usually nodded to her as she arrived for her evening shift, did a double take seeing her in professional attire, visitor badge pinned to her blazer. "Welcome to the incubator program," said Olivia, the program director. leading her through the sleek corridors to a creative workspace filled with whiteboards and ergonomic furniture. You'll be working primarily with our healthcare division, given your demonstrated interest. The other incubator participants, recent graduates from prestigious universities and poached talent from competing firms, greeted her with curious politeness. News of her dramatic discovery had spread throughout the company like wildfire. "Is it true you were cleaning the offices?" asked Trevor, a Stanford graduate with earnest eyes. "Until last week," Sophia confirmed, refusing to be embarrassed by her past. "That's badass," he said with genuine admiration. "Most of us have never had to overcome real obstacles." Her workspace overlooked the city, a deliberate contrast to the utility closet where she'd stored her cleaning supplies. On her desk sat a high-end laptop and tablet, tools she'd only dreamed of owning. By mid-morning, she'd been integrated into the team working on the patient care app that had caught Thorne's attention. Her former midnight sketches now projected on screens as developers discussed implementation strategies. "We tried something similar but couldn't solve the navigation issues," explained the lead developer, a woman named Delaney. "Your approach is so much cleaner. When you have limited resources, you learn to eliminate waste," Sophia replied, "including unnecessary design elements." During her lunch break, she ventured to the cafeteria, self-conscious as she navigated the social landscape from a new position. She was selecting fruit when she heard familiar voices, Pierce and Vanessa, huddled at a nearby table. "Completely unqualified," Vanessa was saying bitterly. "She doesn't even have a proper design degree." "Thorne's made his pet project clear," Pierce muttered. "Best to smile and play along until this blows over." Sophia considered confronting them, but decided her success would speak louder than any retort. She chose a table by the window, eating alone until Trevor and some other incubator participants joined her. Genuinely interested in her perspective, she didn't see Ethan until late afternoon, when he appeared in the incubator space for a cross-team meeting. His eyes found hers immediately, relief washing over his features when she didn't look away. After the meeting, he approached her desk. "How's the first day going?" "Surreal," she admitted. "Yesterday I was worried about making rent. Today I'm helping design systems that could impact thousands of patients." "You deserve this," he said earnestly. "I should have said something when they started mocking you." Sophia considered him thoughtfully. "Why didn't you?" Ethan's shoulders slumped. "Fear. Cowardice. I've worked so hard to be accepted in those circles, and I was afraid to risk it." His honesty was refreshing. "It's not an excuse, just the truth. At least you recognize it," she said, softening slightly. "Some people never see their own privilege. Can I make it up to you? Coffee sometime? As colleagues," he added quickly. "I need time, Ethan," she replied. This is all happening very fast. In the following weeks, Sophia immersed herself in her new role. Her practical perspective and intuitive understanding of user needs quickly made her valuable to the team. She began to find her voice in meetings, no longer intimidated by credentials or titles. Jonathan Thorne became something of a mentor, stopping by the incubator regularly to check on her progress and offer guidance drawn from his own unlikely rise through the ranks. "Never apologize for your path," he advised during one such visit. "It gives you insights the Silver Spoon crowd will never have." Ethan kept his distance, but watched her rise with evident admiration. He sent congratulatory messages when her first design went into production and defended her work fiercely when Vanessa tried to take credit for one of her innovations. One evening, working late, Sophia found herself drawn to the rooftop garden where her conversations with Ethan had begun. The city spread before her like a carpet of stars, no longer a world apart, but her world too now. She heard the door open behind her and turned to find Ethan, looking uncertain. "I hoped I might find you here," he said, keeping a respectful distance. "Old habits." "Some habits are worth keeping," she acknowledged, making space for him at the railing. They stood in comfortable silence before he spoke again. "You've proven everyone wrong, you know. Even me, in some ways." "I didn't do this to prove anyone wrong," she corrected him. "I did it because someone finally gave me the chance to prove myself right." As the city lights shimmered below them, Sophia realized she stood at a crossroads, not just professionally but personally. The path forward would require courage from both of them. Constellations aligned. 3 months into her tenure at Horizon Technologies, Sophia presented her completed healthcare interface to the executive board. Her design had evolved from midnight sketches to a fully realized system that promised to revolutionize patient care management. The simplicity is what makes it brilliant, Jonathan Thorne told the assembled executives as Sophia concluded her presentation. Ms. Reyes understood what our traditional designers missed, that medical professionals need intuitive systems that reduce cognitive load, not increase it. The boardroom erupted in applause. Even Vanessa offered grudging congratulations afterward, her former disdain tempered by the undeniable success of Sophia's work. "We're offering you a permanent position as senior UX designer," Olivia informed her after the meeting. "Your probationary period in the incubator has been waived based on exceptional performance." That evening, Sophia found herself again on the rooftop garden, processing the day's events. The same stars that had witnessed her midnight conversations with Ethan now presided over her triumph. The cleaning crew would be starting their shift soon, her former colleagues continuing the invisible work that kept the company running. The door opened, and Ethan appeared with 2 coffee cups. "Congratulations, Senior Designer Reyes," he said, offering her one. "I hear your presentation blew everyone away." "Thank you," she replied, accepting both the coffee and the compliment. Over the past months, their relationship had slowly mended, evolving into a friendship built on newfound mutual respect. "I have something to show you," he said, setting down his cup and pulling out his tablet. "Remember that literacy program you mentioned? The one that helped your mother learn to read English?" Sophia nodded, surprised he'd remembered such a detail from their late-night conversations. "I've been volunteering there on weekends," he continued, showing her photos of adults learning to read with his assistance. "And I'm helping them redesign their teaching materials using your methodology." Touched by his genuine effort, Sophia studied him with new eyes. "You didn't have to do that." "I wanted to understand your world better," he admitted, "not just talk about it from my comfortable perspective." He hesitated before adding, "It's changed how I see everything." "That's called growth," she said softly. The city hummed beneath them, indifferent to their personal revelations. Sophia leaned against the railing, considering how far they'd both come. "I resigned from the executive fast track," Ethan said suddenly. "What? Why would you do that?" "Because it wasn't making me happy," he explained. "I was chasing validation from people like Pierce and Vanessa, whose opinions shouldn't matter." He looked directly at her. "I've requested a transfer to your team instead, as a junior member learning from you." Sophia stared at him in disbelief. "You'd give up your position to work under me?" "I'd give up a position that made me compromise my values for one that lets me do meaningful work with someone I respect," he corrected. "If you'll have me on your team." The moment stretched between them, heavy with possibility. In his eyes, Sophia saw not the privileged executive who had once condescended to her, but a man humbled by his mistakes and determined to be better. "The team assignments aren't my decision," she said carefully. "But your opinion matters. Thorne respects you." Sophia considered him thoughtfully. "You'd have to earn your place. No shortcuts because of our history." "I wouldn't want any," he assured her. "I want to succeed on merit the way you have." Something shifted between them, the last barrier of inequality finally dissolving. They were no longer divided by position or privilege, but united by shared purpose and genuine respect. "There's something else I should tell you," Sophia said, setting down her coffee cup. "I've started a scholarship fund for the building maintenance staff." Thorne matched my contribution. "Anyone who wants to pursue education or training gets financial support and flexible scheduling." Ethan's face brightened with admiration. "That's incredible." "No one should have to choose between survival and dreams," she said simply. As night settled fully around them, they stood closer than before, their shoulders nearly touching. The same stars that had witnessed their beginning now illuminated their potential future. "Do you remember that first night we met?" Ethan asked. When you thought I'd judge you for being a cleaner with dreams? Sophia nodded, the memory no longer painful. I fell in love with your mind that night, he confessed quietly. Before I knew anything else about you. But I didn't deserve you then. And now? She asked, her heart quickening. Now I'm trying to become someone who does, he said honestly. Not by impressing you with status or connections, but by being a person of courage and integrity. Like you. Sophia turned to face him fully, seeing the truth in his eyes. That's all I ever wanted, to be seen for who I am, not what I do. I see you now, he whispered. Completely. As the city lights sparkled below and the stars shone above, Sophia and Ethan closed the distance between their worlds. Their kiss was not an ending, but a beginning, a promise of possibility between two people who had found their way to equal ground. In the coming months, Sophia would continue her rise at Horizon, eventually heading her own division focused on accessibility and inclusive design. Ethan would prove himself a valuable team member, his privilege transformed into a tool for opening doors for others. Together, they would create systems that bridged divides not just between users and technology, but between people of different backgrounds and circumstances. The night cleaner and the executive had found more than romance. They had discovered the power of seeing beyond surfaces to the constellations of potential that exist in every person, waiting only for the chance to shine.